chestnuts roasting on the fire.
Is it?
I'll do this. Hey!
Hey guys! So sorry, I think we're having some technical difficulties off the bat. Can you guys believe that? I mean, that's so not like us at all. So we were going to do something really great today. If y'all remember from last year,
what did we do last year?
Sung you guys Christmas carols.
Oh my goodness.
And we'd like to resume that again. So, for those of you that don't know us, I'm Krystal.
And I'm Eric.
We own the Dog Psychology and Training Center, and we like helping you out with free dog training advice and tips. So, as we were just talking about last season, it's one of our favorite times of year. I mean, baby Jesus was born. We sing him happy birthday every year. So, we finally got our Halloween
Stockings up.
It's our favorite holiday because Jesus was born and it's Halloween. So yes, we have all the stockings up.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
That's all we've got because we don't know the rest of that song.
That's truly it.
What do we talk about?
I know something today? Anywhere, anytime. Merry Christmas. So, this year, tonight, my goodness, my mind is not with us tonight. I've been gone the last few weeks. I've missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. So, we were home for the holidays, Thanksgiving, to be specific. Not Christmas and not Halloween. It was Thanksgiving. And visiting with friends and family. And one of the questions came up, should family bring their dogs, if you're hosting, to your house, or should you take your dogs to family's house? I instantly want to say no.
I instantly want to say, I don't know, how'd your dog act last time that you had them in this particular house with like dozens of other people and food, and people are drinking and nobody's really paying attention to their dogs? And depending on what your answer is to that, I'm probably going to also say no.
So we're going to get into the pros and cons of that. I'm going to tell you why I vote no, and he's going to tell you why he votes yes. So for me, all the no's come up. He just mentioned them. Plenty of food. If your dog has GI issues, it's an absolute no. We had a pit bull that had a sensitive stomach, and he was given a saltine cracker.
One.
For Christmas.
One.
We woke up the next morning to explosive diarrhea. Literally.
More than one.
It's going to get graphic. So for those of you that don't want to hear this, earmuffs. And I'll take my earmuffs down when it's not gross. But diarrhea up the wall, all three walls actually, because he's fun. The one wall was covered behind a computer desk, so we had to clean that. On the ceiling, I kid you not, he literally went all night long and didn't make a pee because he was a sweetheart. Hear myself? That's why I say no. Alcohol was another topic he brought up. Alcohol and dogs. There's pros and cons here, right? Because a lot of dog behaviors sometimes get triggered by us humans. So when you drink some alcohol, it makes you very friendly and happy and loosey-goosey.
Hopefully.
And so your dogs, if they're more of a wound uptight type of dog, it might help relax them too. Because if they're feeding off of your negative energy and you're feeling relaxed, they might feel relaxed. But then your senses are also diminished. So if your dog makes a bad choice, you're going to be much slower to react. And there could be lots of problems from that as well. Presents. Who doesn't like to open the presents early? Especially puppies. So if you have a puppy, you might ruin Christmas by chewing somebody's present under the tree, waiting for y'all to open them. What's another reason?
Or peeing on the tree.
House dogs. So whatever, if you're having dogs come to your house or you're going to a house, there's other dogs that are going to have to be mixed here. Please tell me they've met at a non-holiday event, gathering, meeting. You don't have events or gatherings with family, but they need to meet at a very non-eventful time when you can focus on them 100% to make sure body language is good. All dogs are comfortable together. They're reading each other's signals and responding to them. Because sometimes dogs read other dogs' signals and then say, I don't care, I'm still going to do it. So that's super important too.
Example being, dogs are playing and everything's fine. And then one dog starts to get too rough, and another dog saying, hey, this is too much for me.
By maybe growling or averting eye contact or trying to walk away.
And say this 14-month-old puppy or this 8-month-old puppy is just going at it, not listening. Well, then you could have a bigger situation, and you've passed out on the couch because you've had too much turkey and a couple too many drinks.
He doesn't have any turkey or drinks. He just sits on a couch and he's out.
Or you've just made physical contact with a seat of some sort and you've passed out, so you are not paying any attention to your dogs.
Yes.
So that just it increases the potential for bad
disaster. Another reason would be if something was to go wrong, how would your family respond? Like, you don't want the best time of the year to be ruined by a scuffle. Whether it's a scuffle of two dogs fighting, which would be really bad, or a scuffle of your dog stealing half the food, or eating off people's plates, or jumping, or knocking people over, eating presents, whatever it is. If your family or friends, whoever you're inviting to your house, would not react kindly to that, why risk it? Just leave your dog at home. You'll be much happier without all of the stimulation that's going to be happening. Holidays are stressful for everyone. It's a good stress for us. We love it. But it's exhausting. It's emotionally and physically exhausting sometimes. And to put your dogs through that too, when they have the IQ of a toddler and they can't really process or react specifically, like we know, I need to go take a break, I'm gonna go somewhere else, or in this conversation, dogs don't always know how to do that. And so that can make them overstimulated, cranky, and react and do bad things that they wouldn't normally do.
Right. Even if they have been in that same house with, maybe they've met your dog and they've been over to your house and it's been totally fine. They've been over a dozen times. But in this situation, with all the extra stuff that holidays bring, it's a totally different ballpark.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can throw off the top of my head.
So one question that comes to mind as you're saying, as I'm listening to all your wisdom being just poured out.
My negative wisdom. I'm the Grinch of Christmas.
So how would you respond to a family member who pops the question? And you don't want to, you don't want to sound like a Grinch, but you don't want to just go with it, knowing that could really, I was trying not to sound like a Grinch too, but honestly, there's just so much potential that it could just create a situation that does ruin the holiday. Everyone's a little bit more stressed, so it really only takes one thing when it's with your dog, because we know how we are with our dogs. They're like our kids. That things could just sour that day. So how if you were going to choose that, I don't think it's best that my cousin Willie brings over Diesel. How do I tell them?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm the worst with this because I hate confrontation. I feel like saying no is confrontational, so I'm working on saying no. But I think it's safe to say, hey, thanks so much for asking. This year is just really crazy for me, and I just don't need any more stress added to my plate. I'd really appreciate it if you keep Diesel at home this Christmas. And then if you feel like you need to, you can say, we can talk about this maybe for next Christmas, and then you can start building up to it with play dates and interactions to have positive experiences, and to make sure that your dog and the new dog both know the house rules. So when your attention's diverted, they already kind of know what's allowed and not allowed. So I would definitely, kind of end it with, no, it's just not a good year because it's really stressful, and I just don't need any more stress added to my plate. Or, let's open this up for next Christmas and start planning now about how we're going to make this happen. So I think giving it a win-win.
Maybe even see, all my good ideas come when I'm listening to it. So I'm thinking maybe even spin it so like you're doing them a favor. Like, I think that you and I and Diesel and Fluffy are all going to have just a better day if we don't bring them into the situation without any prepping beforehand. Because it's stressful. It's stressful for everybody.
So, what would be a good reason, or what would make a good foundation to bring it up for Christmas or holidays?
I would say starting off by just some smaller get-togethers.
So I'm thinking like for this year.
Oh,
like,
for
we don't
this
have time
year, for
to
this
plan
year.
a whole year in advance.
Gotcha.
I don't think right now is enough time to plan enough get-togethers.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, because it's already so stressful. At least for me personally. I mean, Christmas shopping, all that stuff is just maybe not the best time. Plus, you have a lot more distractions out in your house than you would normally.
All kinds of fragile decorations.
We didn't even put up our tree this year because we have a feisty kitten that y'all have seen on our Facebook page. That would be all up in there.
Oh boy.
So we opted to do no Christmas tree.
So you're saying if we were going to take the leap and actually let Diesel come over for Christmas this year, 2018, what can we do between now and Christmas to prepare ourselves? Is that what?
No, I pretty much said I don't think that's enough time.
That's what I thought.
Okay. So I guess my question, let me rephrase it, is what would qualify an okay? Like, would it be okay this year to bring your dog? I would say you've already had several successful get-togethers and everything's gone fine. The dogs can coexist at your house or you at their house, mostly unattended, and make good choices. So, they're not unattended and you find that they've destroyed something or potty on the floor. That's not what I'm talking about. Mostly unattended with no bad things happening. Not one. If one bad thing happens, they're not ready. And that's okay. Don't be upset. There's always next year. Don't push things too soon because then it will fail. And that's just something we can't stress enough. We get giddy because we think 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Oh, we're good. Take your time. It's okay. It's okay to let your dog be where they are and still accept them that way. We don't have to force them into a situation that they're not ready for. So they've already had successful play dates at your house or their house, whether you're going to their house or friends are bringing dogs to your house. I'm a dog trainer, so I'm going to say both dogs are trained. I think that's super important for smooth sailing. And it doesn't have to be trained by a professional, but they need to know communication. If you say no, if you say leave it, if you say go lay down, if you say come here, they're going to respond and not give you the deaf ear or the talk to the paw attitude. So, train dogs that communicate, that listen to your communication. You can communicate with them and they respond and know what you're saying. And that's super important. Clearly love all people.
Right.
All shapes and sizes and colors, okay? Because some dogs can react differently to small children, to tall people, to men, to women, grandma and grandpa. Sometimes certain meds can be a trigger for a dog to be like, that's weird, something's off. And then they may react aggressively to that person just because of some medicine that's in their system. Dogs are super sensitive to smelling, so make sure they've had that exposure already instead of throwing them at Christmas. Another thing I would say is absolutely bring a crate.
I was just thinking that because I think of things when you talk.
Whether if you're taking your dog somewhere, take your dog's crate. If somebody's bringing their dog, I would ask them to bring their own crate. And if you have a crate, I would still ask them to bring their own. And here's why: their dog's crate, it has their home smell. So when a dog is stressed and starting to do bad things, putting it in somewhere that they feel comfortable and secure in is really important, especially in a stressful time of the year. So having your dog's crate to put them in, and I would put them in their crate just because they get, what's the term, like I'm an introvert and I get just, the energy just gets sucked out of me the more people I'm around. I love people. I'm an outgoing introvert. I love people, but I do get drained the more people I'm around. Some dogs are like that. So even if your dog's not doing anything bad, but you just notice maybe they're trying to avoid people, or maybe your dog's being too clingy to people, and you can tell that people are starting to be like, okay, I've pet you like 1,500 times, please go away. Put your dog in the crate for an hour or two. Let them rest. I mean, if you're like us, you're at families like all day. So let them take a nap. Remember, they have the IQ of a toddler. Toddlers need lots of rest. So don't feel cruel or mean that you're removing your dog from the holiday festivities and making them take a nap. We do it for our kids because we know it's what's best for them. That's our job as parents and as dog owners, to do what's best, not what was best for us, but what's best for the dog or the child.
Yeah. And just like with our kids, we know that they're going to enjoy the time with family a lot better if they can get a nap.
And family will enjoy that.
Exactly. And family will not be sick and tired of our whiny kids because they were super exhausted. We didn't let them rest because they actually took a nap. So
if your dog knows the place command, make sure they have somewhere to place. And that does not qualify as rest. Unless your dog is like off in a corner somewhere that nobody like goes in or touches him or bothers him, and your dog is not distracted by anyone, which is not going to happen on a holiday. It's not rest, because you can't put a pack and play in the middle of the floor and say, "Go to sleep, toddler," and expect it to sleep as people are coming in. What else do you think is necessary? I would probably remove all toys, unless you know both dogs play very well with toys and have no resource guarding. That's just one little thing. Make it clear to everybody if the dogs, maybe food for the dogs, for a multitude of reasons. It could make the dog have GI issues, or it could cause a scuffle between the dogs, because there's a lot of resources on the holidays, right? Lots of different food. Foods are resources for dogs. And if there's something dropped on the floor and there's more than one dog, this could be problematic.
You think about the layers of stress that dogs have. Try and remove as many layers as you possibly can. So resources is a layer. The stress of all the company is a layer that you can't get rid of. The stress of an extra dog is a layer that you can't get rid of. Maybe this would be a good day to exercise them a little bit beforehand. If you don't always do that, take that edge off. There's one layer, remove as many layers as you possibly can if you're going to put your dog in a especially stressful situation.
And I just want to clarify too, we're not Grinches. We love dogs, and we know dogs are great. We know there are great dogs out there. As dog trainers, we don't always see the happy-go-lucky, easy dogs that don't need any professional training and they're just more amazing. We generally see the dogs that are very naughty, have human aggression, dog aggression. So a lot of these pointers are on the overprotective side, because we know what dogs are capable of. And just because your dog has never been reactive or aggressive or shown any types of negative behaviors doesn't mean he can't be bad at some point, just like us.
He's got a lot of extra layers of stress on him.
I generally am a happy-go-lucky person, but I have triggers too. And once I've hit enough triggers in one day, I'm more likely to snap. Whether that's at a grocery store club or my kids or my husband. I'm regretful, but it happens because we're living beings. So that's something to think of. The other thing I want to make a point of that I just thought of was young adult dogs. Puppies, if you take a puppy, remember that they're infants, okay? They're not considered an adult dog until 6 months, and even at 6 months, they still need lots of rest. And so don't keep your puppy out for 4 hours on Christmas Day. Have them out for 30 minutes, and then in the crate for an hour to an hour and a half, and then out for 30, and then in the crate for an hour to an hour and a half. That rest is super important because the puppy is processing a lot of new stuff during that time. The other thing to think of is maybe last year you took your puppy and it all went well. Now your puppy's a year old or a year and a half. Just think about the the highest range of ages in shelters are between 6 months and 18 months. And that's because those are the dog's teenage years, right? Teenagers make bad choices. And not only do they make bad choices, they do it on purpose. So be aware that just because your dog was perfect last year, he may not be perfect this year, which is also why having the crate is super important as a backup. Worst case scenario, your dog stays in the crate the majority of the day. You let him out to go potty, you go bypass all the people and dogs, like straight out to the outside, go potty, clear them for a few minutes, and then put him back in the crate for longer than a few minutes. I'm just saying, don't let him interact with anybody else at the potty if they're having a rough day. But just keep in mind, just because your dog was perfect last year doesn't mean you can go without a leash. Please take a leash. You can go without a leash, without a cage, and everything's going to be fine. So that's my last 2 cents.
I have no more sense.
I'll tell you what, the quick kids now, my brain is done. All right, guys. Well, it was great seeing you all again. I hope I can make it back next week. But if not, Merry Christmas.
And if you have any song requests, you can post those in the comments, and we'll consider them.
If we know them.
If not, we'll maybe try and learn 2 lemons.
We start listening to Christmas music like the day after Thanksgiving. So just a little hint. We may not know the songs, so I make up my own lyrics. I'm just saying.
We hummed them.
We do.
We hummed them
so
well.
Maybe we could hum a carol for you.
Yeah.
But do give us some suggestions.
Give us some suggestions. And if you have any other holiday questions or any general questions, go ahead and ask us those.
Yes. And if you have friends and family bringing their dog to your house for Christmas, or you are going to friends and family's house for Christmas, please share this video with them, or tag them in the comments, or send it to their page, or message it to them. To share the word that it's okay to have dogs for the holidays, but there are a lot of stipulations and rules. All right. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. See you next time.